This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
Do you play FanDuel and feel like you aren't creating consistent money-making lineups? Go over to the DFS Doctors on Twitter at the DFS Doctors and DM them with promo code Detroit Sports to get a free trial for their analytically formulated 70% lifetime profit rate NFL and NBA lineups. The whole purpose of playing daily fantasy sports is to get out there and compete and give yourself a chance to win. So go over to the DFS Doctors. Let them help you. They have analysts on staff that look at the best optimal lineup that you can put out there to win money. So why not take advantage? At the DFS Doctors, promo code Detroit Sports.
CBD is a game changer sweeping the nation. This hemp extract is the natural way to elevate your mood, eliminate aches and pains, reduce anxiety, and keep you sleeping all night long. It can even cut your workout recovery time in half. Get in the game today with 20% off all orders of CBD and lavender products from Lavender Lane, a lavender farm located right here in Milan, Michigan. Just go to lavenderlanemi.com today and enter coupon code Detroit for 20% off your entire order. Guys, look, these amazing products are infused with calming lavender to maximize their effectiveness, meaning your CBD items only take minutes to take effect, which is way quicker than those pills you were about to swallow. On top of it, they are perfect for men and women. Lavender Lane has lab-tested CBD creams, tinctures, and roll-ons that are perfect for any situation, even if you're on the go. Put your health back in your hands by heading over to lavenderlanemi.com and entering coupon code Detroit for 20% off your entire order of CBD and lavender products. What do you have to lose? Your satisfaction is guaranteed or your money back. So if you need lavender gifts for your loved ones or just looking for the natural way to ease your discomfort with CBD, go to lavenderlanemi.com and use coupon code Detroit to unlock these miraculous benefits of CBD and lavender. That's lavenderlanemi.com. And remember, use coupon code DETROIT for 20% off your CBD and lavender products from Michigan's own Lavender Lane.
Welcome in on a Monday to the Monday Mashup on Detroit Sports Podcast. And we really need to find a better name for this podcast network than Detroit Sports Podcast because Detroit Sports suck shit.
Yeah, it's bleak.
I just was running some numbers before we got on here in case we wanted to talk much Detroit, and we won't outside of breaking news this week that's dominating the NBA about one
yes, dominating.
Andre Drummond. Well, nobody else is getting traded except for Dante Exum and Jordan Clarkson.
That's fair. Poor Dante Exum.
Russell Westbrook was the last trade before the Dante Exum trade, and may well be the next trade since the Dante Exum trade. We'll get into the NBA trade market. We got to start with the NFL playoffs, which I know are not anything Detroit fans know much about, but
ever.
I had my heart broken. I don't want to spend a ton of time on it, but I want to start in New Orleans, where fans are going to tell you that they were robbed a second time.
Yeah, I'm not buying it. They got robbed last year. They didn't get robbed this year.
No, I don't think they got robbed at all.
Drew Brees' hand strength. Guy didn't even hit the ball. Hit his arm. Got to hang on to the ball. Drew Brees having multiple turnovers in a playoff game, though, is pretty par for the course for Drew Brees. Yeah.
I want to open this with this game because I am absolutely just tired of Drew Brees. I don't want to see Drew Brees play football anymore. I want him to hang it up. Not because I dislike him immensely. I'm just sick of him. Yeah. I'm sick of the circus that surrounds him when you get on Twitter and you get through the discourse and people want to tell you he's better than Peyton Manning and people want to tell you he's better than Tom Brady. I'm sick of stopping games in the middle of the game so that we can celebrate a touchdown or a yardage record.
Yeah.
Beat someone in the playoffs.
Exactly. Win. Like, I'm going to do something I do now because I'm me and equate it to basketball. He's freaking Stockton. Like, he's got all these records. He's got more assists than anybody. He's got more passing yards, more passing touchdowns. Oh, but he played when Michael played. That's why he didn't win. Like, well, at the end of the day, he wasn't as good as the guys playing with him.
I keep looking at this. Drew Brees irritates the shit out of me because he gets put in the list of great quarterbacks all the time. Right. Great quarterbacks put themselves in position to win football games in the playoffs at the end of the game.
Especially when
why
they're
is
playing
Drew
Kirk
Brees
Cousins.
always in position to lose football games?
To Kirk Cousins and Jared Goff and
Case Keenum.
And it happens quite often to Drew Brees.
A lot.
Like,
All the time, every year with home field advantage, without home field
two
advantage.
2 out of the last 3 were at home.
I can't keep watching this same deal. The only time he ever won the Super Bowl, mostly you can attribute it to the genius of an onside kick. But I'm tired of hearing how great Drew Brees is when he doesn't win in the playoffs. He doesn't play particularly well in the playoffs. He's had 2 of the greatest advantages in the passing era by playing half of his game indoors since 2005?
In the first half in San Diego.
Might
as well be indoors.
You play in the best weather, maybe in the world, and then you play half your games indoors for the rest of your career. And even San Diego is 3 years? So the entire time that he's built his greatness, you've played half your games indoors. Yeah. You've also played in the most vertical and pass-happy offense in the NFL.
One of the best play callers of all time, probably.
One of the great offensive minds ever in Sean Payton.
For sure.
You've
had Mark Ingram, you've had great players, you've had Michael Thomas, you've had Marquise Colston and Jimmy Graham, you've had a lot of great players.
Taking that aspect out of it, because I think quarterbacks make receivers better. Like Jimmy Graham was trash when he wasn't with Drew Brees. Michael Thomas is incredible, he didn't do a whole lot in Seattle or Green Bay.
But trash? Like Eric Ebron was trash in Detroit. Jimmy Graham wasn't trash in Seattle.
Not if you ask his fantasy owners. I think his fantasy owners would call him trash. The point is, leaving just players out of it, everything in Drew Brees' career from a coaching standpoint and from a where you've played standpoint has been conducive to throwing for a lot of yards and throwing for a lot of touchdowns. The whole point is this: stop putting him with Peyton Manning and Tom Brady and Joe Montana. He's not in that conversation.
Right.
He's nowhere close. I can't even put him with Aaron Rodgers. And I think Aaron Rodgers is one of the more overrated quarterbacks in the history of the NFL.
They're similar to me. They're really, really talented. They've only won one time.
But I don't even know if Drew Brees is as talented as Aaron Rodgers. I mean, maybe.
Sure that
it actually might be similar because Aaron Rodgers had been known for playoff duds. Hello, 5 interceptions in Seattle.
I think those.
Oh no, Russ threw the 5 picks. Aaron Rodgers didn't even turn the ball over in playoff games.
To me, those guys, career arc wise, those guys are close. I just think they're dudes with great numbers, really talented dudes. They're just not great winners.
And that is kind of the thing. But to me, Aaron Rodgers' stats feel more concrete. I look at Drew Brees being the career touchdowns leader, and I'm like, that feels a little hollow.
Drew Brees
one, where you played, and 2,
the eye test is big there. The eye test is you watch Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers is the dude who made the play. Drew Brees just executed the play call.
Right.
Aaron Rodgers made the play happen, got out, did whatever, threw some crazy, ridiculous whatever, and made it happen. Drew Brees took 3 steps and hit an open receiver.
And longevity.
He just always hits the open receiver.
Yeah, longevity definitely matters too, but you're right. You don't see Drew Brees making a ton of tight window throws.
No, he's not the guy who wows you. He just does it every single freaking he hit 11 straight at one point in this game. It didn't even seem like it, but he hit 11 straight.
He's insanely accurate, in large part because
everybody's wide open.
Yeah, and he's not throwing he doesn't throw contested deep balls. Right. He's not going the sideline very often.
Right.
He has a play caller who has figured out how to open up his incredible receivers in the middle of the field, and he just makes the play, and he knows when to dump it off.
Record this year.
I'm just tired of watching him play and hearing him be called one of the greats when I don't think he is. I think he is one of the most overrated players in NFL history. Understand, overrated does not mean bad.
Right.
It just means we have to take this guy down a peg. He does not perform on the biggest stage. He just doesn't.
Ready for a super hot take? I don't think he's ever been as talented as Matthew Stafford.
Listen, Stafford's got some work to do.
All I'm saying, talent for talent, arm talent for arm talent, player for player.
No, Drew Brees is a little bit of a noodle guy.
Yeah.
He has been for almost his entire career.
If Matt Stafford didn't have the terrible coaching staff and the terrible line that he's had this whole year, give Drew Brees Calvin Johnson, give Sean Payton Calvin Johnson.
Yeah, shit. But you give that to Drew Brees. Do we think he wins more Super Bowls?
Not than if you give Matt Stafford Sean Payton and that
Exactly.
offense. And like, no, yeah.
That's
dude.
like this, but this is the difference. If I give Tom Brady Calvin Johnson,
well, that's just not fair.
see, that's the difference.
We did that already. They threw 50 touchdown passes.
But that's what I'm
They
talking
set
about. Like,
records. His name was Randy Moss. It's the
we
same dude.
can't keep doing this with Drew Brees. I'm done doing this. It's even the same thing with Peyton, where I've always talked to people, and they're like, well, at least he has the 2 Super Bowls. And I'm like, yeah, but look at his playoff stats. He's horrific in the playoffs. And that's another guy who played most of his career indoors.
It's just like so much of being a great quarterback is what you're surrounded with and what you're given. Like I just said it about Stafford, another guy who I always thought was like, damn, that guy has a whole lot of talent if he could just figure it the hell out. It's like Jay Cutler. Same type, those type of guys who are just, man, that guy's really talented, but they don't have the structure and everything that Drew Brees has around him. I've never thought that about Drew Brees. I've never watched Drew Brees and been like, that guy's talent just wows me.
Peyton's a little different, too, because he had kind of a revolving door, and he made the Super Bowl with 4 different coaches.
And because Peyton, like, you could see it pre-snap.
Oh, yeah.
He was calling out every single dude on the other. Like, he was just a genius.
Those last seasons in Denver, they didn't need an offensive coordinator.
Yeah, they
Peyton
didn't call
was just
plays.
Peyton
Adam
was in the
Gase should get
shotgun,
no credit. No
calling
credit to Adam
everything. Yeah,
Gase. Like,
and that was what was so incredible about Peyton. But like Drew Brees doesn't do any of that, and I'm just tired of putting Drew Brees in that same class. I'd like for him to hang it up and go away because I don't need another year spent where we're going, who's going to end the year with the career touchdowns lead, Tom Brady or Drew Brees, and we have to stop the game for Drew Brees every time he breaks it.
so he
It's
can hug
not
his sons.
necessary.
Not his daughter, but his sons.
Yeah, like I'm done with the guy. Let's move on to the game that just ended, Philly and Seattle. I'm going to be honest, I was at the Michigan State game.
You didn't miss much.
Cassius Winston, incredible today. So I didn't watch a ton of Seattle and Philly. Russell Wilson threw a beautiful deep ball to ice it. It's about all I got.
Not quite as nice as Kirk Cousins' deep ball.
I don't think either of these teams could have won another. Oh, God, Kirk Cousins. For all the slander I've done to this man this year, what a game.
Mwah.
And I got to
Beautiful.
say, I didn't see it coming after that Monday night debacle. I thought he was dead in the water, but that dime to Thielen was incredible.
Perfect. What a catch. What a catch, too. Like
Seriously.
The over-the-shoulder basket reminds me from Willie Mays Hayes from Major League. Just drop it right in the... Oh, beautiful.
Nelson Aguilar wouldn't dare track a deep ball like that.
No,
he wouldn't dare.
God, no. Never.
Games yesterday were kind of brutal in that Buffalo and Houston, I don't think either team deserved to be in the playoffs.
That game stunk.
You talk about some brain-dead decision-making.
Stunk.
Like, not kicking the field goal to go up 6, dumb.
Even the second game kind of stunk. Like
It was bad.
I dozed off most of the first half, and then I was fully there for the whole second half. I was like, this is the worst. Nobody scored. The whole damn second
Nobody
half.
scored. 0-0 in
It's
the
just
second
terrible.
half. It was this, and it was a lot of punting.
Yes. I was watching Northwestern play Purdue at noon on a Saturday.
It was a brutal game, and it was very un-Brady like. Like he was good.
I didn't think he was bad at all.
I thought he made really nice throws. He just didn't have any help. Randy Moss even went out to say, "Please get this man some help." That's, of course, if he returns to New England. Which
Future Charger Tom Brady, or future Bear, or future some.
I'm just gonna
Maybe like 3 teams. Like he's Chargers. Okay, it makes sense because Phillip Rivers might go. Bears, well, they don't know what the hell they're doing, but Ryan Pace already said Mitch is our quarterback going forward, which good luck to you. You also said that about Mike Glennon once. But
You want the dark horse?
tell me.
The Miami Dolphins.
Yikes. Like, only if they draft Tua and then sit him for a year so Brady could come in and...
I'm tired. That's the dark. Hey, Giselle, I want to play football for 2 more years. Giselle, no. Tom, but what if we do it in South Beach?
What if he does it in New York? What if he goes to the Giants? What if they say, Daniel Jones, you're going to sit this year behind Tom Brady?
I could see it if, huge if, they hire Josh McDaniels.
He's going to interview, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, so I mean... Because Miami's not hiring Josh McDaniels.
No, but they have Flores and they might... I mean, who's their offensive coordinator?
That's the biggest question for anyone where Tom Brady could go. Who's the OC? Who's calling the plays? Who's the OC? Who am I throwing it to? And how's my line?
I don't think Josh McDaniels is going to leave New England to be an OC somewhere else.
No,
and I
that's what I'm saying.
kind of think the only way Brady's leaving New England is if he's going to Josh McDaniels. Because the argument that I keep hearing is no matter if he's the GOAT or not, if he goes to a new team, he's still the new guy in the locker room with a new offense and a new coach.
The reason I like the Giants is because it's the NFC. I like him to move conferences.
Yeah, it would be like the weird thing about Miami is he'd stay in the division.
Right.
Which means, it would be kind of a poetic thing, especially for him, if he continues the AFC East domination
He could go
over
to Tampa.
Belichick.
That's the NFC. It's close to it's not close to Miami at all. It's a
No,
clear
it's
other
not.
side of the state. But
It's on the
helicopters
less-
are real.
the less prestigious part of the state. It's also way
Beautiful
north.
sunsets.
Oh, gorgeous. Gorgeous sunsets in Miami,
No
too.
state income tax.
I don't want to
No, the
spend...
sunsets in Miami are terrible. It's the East Coast. Sunrises are great.
I don't want to spend too long on it because I frankly think it's boring. The chances of him leaving New England to me, and this isn't like what I did with Kyrie, where I was like, I don't think he's leaving Boston. I was very nervous that Kyrie was leaving Boston. I'm not too concerned that Brady's leaving New England.
I just I don't know where he'd go. Like,
The other thing, and maybe it's just a selfish aspect of it, I don't know how I would feel. And so I can't envision it happening because I don't have any idea.
I can't see it. I can't see him in another uniform.
I don't have any
I've tried.
idea how I would react. And I can't, I may fire up Photoshop and jersey swap him tonight just to see what it looks like. And it's probably going to gross me out. It's probably going to make me feel really
You'd
bad.
have to. The only way he leaves is for a perfect situation where there's a line, there's somebody to throw it to, and it's a coach he wants to play for. Like, I don't think city matters as much as those other things.
Yeah,
because it's not like okay, Giselle, you go stay with the kids wherever in LA for I'll be here doing football things.
It's the Skip Bayless stuff too, where they're like, "Well, he wants to be in California, so L.A." No, here's why I don't think it's the Chargers. One, Anthony Lynn. Two, you got to go to a
I was
place.
surprised it's still Anthony Lynn.
They don't have home games.
Yeah, true.
Brady's not going to play somewhere you don't have a home game.
But the Chargers would be motivated to give him any type of money because they need to put butts in the seats.
Unless the Bears throw Matt Nagy off a bridge, I don't think he's going to be a Bear.
No, I wouldn't.
Chicago? Tom Brady is going to go over to Chicago?
Kyle Long just retired. They just lost their best offensive lineman.
No, that's not going to happen. Plus, that defense, I'm sorry, it's going to start to decline. These things only remain great for 2 to 3 years max.
I think, you know what? This is a quick aside on the Bears defense. I think that defense has a little bit of a resurgence next year when they finally have something to play for. Because I think they felt like after week 6, no matter what the hell we do, Trubisky can't win us a game. So
a little bit of Michigan State there.
For sure. Like, there's got to be part of it that if they start 3-0, that defense is going to be energized again. They're going to have a spring in their step, and Khalil Mack's going to be comeback player of the year and have 10.5 sacks.
It'll be nice because I tell you, if Khalil Mack's not rushing the passer really effectively, Kyle Fuller kind of stinks.
Yeah,
first team All-Pro last year.
It certainly helps your corners if you can get to the quarterback.
He is not a very good cover corner, it turns out. You're not going to get a better coach situation. You're not going to get a better defensive situation. If you can bring back Gronk or you can trade for a receiver, if you can go find somebody to help Brady, if you can get Odell Beckham in.
Amendola could come back.
Yeah, if you get Danny Amendola back so that at least you have a middle-of-the-field threat that's not Edelman. If you can get Gronk to come out of retirement. If you can trade for OBJ, if you can trade for Keenan Allen, if you can find someone, you're not getting a better football situation than New England. You're just not.
Devontae Parker, a free agent out of Miami?
Oh my gosh.
There's some names out there probably this year. I think Marvin Jones is a free agent.
Yeah, but Marvin Jones, I don't think Marvin
those are
Jones
guys who are better than trying to throw it to Philip Dorsett.
Yeah, but Marvin Jones feels redundant because Mohamed Sanu's already on the team.
Yeah, but he's a free agent.
Devontae Parker is not a free agent.
Not a free agent.
He's not eating a ton of salary though either. I think he has potential out after 2021, but you have an opportunity to make a trade there if you really wanted to.
Good player.
I mean, and that's the other thing is the Patriots, I looked today, have $47 million in cap space for next year. If Brady doesn't want to take a discount, giving him 1 year at $20 to $25 million isn't going to break your bank.
Right.
I mean, the Lions carried, $20 million in cap space throughout the season?
Do you think Belichick wants to re-sign him, or do you think Belichick wants to move on?
It depends how high he is on Jarrett Stidham.
Do you think he would move on to Jarrett Stidham, not draft somebody?
Who are you going to draft with the 30th pick?
Well, is it 30?
I don't know. It's probably
they were
28.
only 12
it'll
before,
depend,
right?
And it'll depend on. It's not the NBA way where it's just finished standings. However they finished, it depends what order you lose in the playoffs too.
Oh well, I mean they lost in the first. they got to be around 20.
24, 25 probably.
I mean, let's say they take 24, 25 and their second round pick and they move up into 15, 16-ish. Justin Herbert, you could get...
Is that I'm all the way out on Justin Herbert, so I imagine...
I didn't watch the Rose Bowl. I don't know.
I imagine that Belichick is out on Justin Herbert.
There's some names, though. There's some other guys out there who you might like better than Jared Stidham.
But that's the thing. If you draft someone, I don't think Bill Belichick is starting a rookie quarterback.
It would be a little out of character.
I don't believe it. I refuse.
I mean,
what's he going to do? Go sign Josh McCown or Matt Castle or somebody to come
play
in
for all the AFC East teams.
No, I don't think that that's going to happen. That's where there's no succession plan in place, and so I don't think it's like Belichick. Would his first choice be to throw $20 million at 43-year-old Tom Brady? No,
of course not.
But he doesn't really have another option if he's interested in winning.
Make a trade for a quarterback. I don't know who it is, but when's the last time we saw a quarterback?
What are you going to do, Kirk Cousins?
I don't know. There's one name I think of, but I'm almost positive there's no way around.
Kirk Cousins just won a playoff game, so he's not getting traded.
Kirk Cousins.
I got to cut him off.
There's the one. I'm not even talking about a trade. Well, it might have to be a trade, but I don't. Look, Andrew Luck is still out there. Like, I'm just trying to figure out a way to gradually get
I saw those tweets before the year too, and it was like Andrew Luck retired to void his contract with the Colts, and then go and get.
It's a thing that could happen, right? Like, he is out there. I know that you retire, you're probably going to be retired, but like he's 29. He's not old.
All right, I'm just going to say this right now. I'm going to put it on the record on a microphone. If Tom Brady goes to a different NFL team, me, as a Patriot fan, will be extremely upset. If we replace him with the most surefire quarterback prospect in arguably the history of football, aside from Peyton Manning.
Yeah, I mean, you're right about that. Elway him, yeah.
I can't even explain to you, I'm going to need to change my underwear.
I'm going
to need to call a doctor.
It's out
going
there
to be
in the ether. I don't know.
It'll be Viagra side effects if we get Andrew Luck in here for Tom Brady.
Can they do it without trading for him? If he comes back, does he have to play for the Colts?
I don't know.
Because they're not sold on Jacoby Brissett.
Well, what was the Calvin Johnson thing when he retired and then people were like, if he comes out of retirement, he can come out of retirement for the Patriots? Wasn't it like after a certain time of the year, it voided the rest of the contract or something crazy?
I'm not sure how it works. I know that it didn't happen that way with Barry Sanders, because if he wanted to come back, he was playing for the Lions, as bad as he wanted to be a Miami Dolphin.
And then what would motivate the Colts in the AFC to be like,
that would never, ever happen.
Yeah.
The Colts hate the Patriots.
Yeah, the Patriots would have to throw
that's what I'm
all
saying.
of their draft picks for the next 7 years.
Yes, there's a boatload of red tape to cut through before he could ever be a Patriot, but that is a name that's out there as like he exists.
That would be incredible. Yeah. That would be incredible.
And there's some other interesting quarterback names. Like look, Robert Griffin had a good game last week.
No, all right, don't let's chill on that.
Hey, you know what? Matt Stafford's out there. Like if they start 0-4, if they start 1-3, he doesn't have that money on the hold on him anymore, right? After next year starts, what is it, July that goes away? Whatever.
Yeah, there's nothing on a hit.
I mean, there are quarterbacks out there. I don't know what it takes to trade for a franchise quarterback because you just never see it.
The thing with I think Belichick's not going to punt a season either. That's where
exactly.
If it's not Andrew Luck, I think it's Tom Brady.
Andy Dalton?
No way in hell.
Andy Dalton had an 8-0 team at one point. Let's say you could pull Andy Dalton and AJ Green away from a Bengals team that wants to rebuild if you give them your first and your second. You could sign Andy Dalton, bring in AJ Green. This is all ridiculous. You would not be happy to replace Tom Brady with Andy Dalton. But
apparently, as I'm just reading on Twitter, as that Philly game was ending, Chris Collinsworth said Tom Brady to the Chargers. He will probably not be in New England, is what they said.
Oh, Chris Collinsworth and his all-knowingness.
I cannot wait until he just re-signs for 2 years in New England, and then everybody's on Twitter. Nobody really thought he was leaving, okay?
I have at least in my head that it's possible that he could leave, which is more than I ever had before. Last year, whenever before was he could go. No, he ain't gonna fucking go. But now, never
in my life have I legitimately believed that Tom Brady could be anywhere other than New England. Right now, I see it as a possibility.
There's an inkling of he could go. I guess he could go. He's not under contract. It makes sense. He could go. I don't think he will. I still don't think he will. But yeah, for the first time in my Tom Brady knowing life, I think he could possibly play for a different team. I don't know who it is. It has to be perfect. Why would you leave for anything other than perfect? But like
Miami's pretty close.
They stink though. Like they are.
I don't know that
good.
they do. Like they have all the draft picks. They have a ton of cap space.
Yeah, they would like, okay, if Miami completely reshapes and rebuilds with all the cap space and everything they have, Stephen Ross is a Michigan man. I get it. Okay, that makes sense. Who's the OC in Miami? I don't know.
What if they just kicked Brian Flores' ass out and put Jim Harbaugh in as head coach?
I wouldn't do that. Like, why?
Could you imagine? And Tom Brady and Jim, I would hate it.
No way Stephen Ross.
I would hate it. That's something that would actually make me hate Tom Brady.
Do you think Stephen Ross would do that? Because he's the dude who has to pay Jim Harbaugh's buyout, and he'd be the dude who has to pay Jim Harbaugh's new contract. Like,
hey, man, he's going to pay him either way. What's Harbaugh's buyout? It can't even be that much anymore.
I don't know.
He's only got 2 years left or whatever.
It's extension time for Harbaugh, isn't it? Not to get into that, but it's got to be getting close, right? We're through year 5.
I don't think he's getting any type of extension the way it is right now. He just lost to Bama.
Yeah, but
got obliterated.
Did anyone think they were going to beat Bama?
Yeah, but I don't know if anybody thought they were going to get shit on.
That's fair. I mean, Saban ran it up at the end. It looked worse than it actually was. But
yeah, but that was a lot of it too. Was I was thinking at the end of that game. I think at halftime somebody was like, "Hey, Jim Harbaugh is the coach of that team," and Saban was like, "Oh fuck, I forgot about that."
Hey, remember he stole your OC also. Oh yeah, that son of a bitch.
All right, let's get into the more local aspect of things, and that is, of course, the Woj nuke.
Nuke. Yeah. Very much a nuke. His middling center might get traded to a shitty team. Here's your Woj bomb, America.
I couldn't, coming off of, December 15th, the trades are going to fly. Like, I think
they did a special.
You and I
was waiting for something like that night. Like, okay, give me a bomb, baby. You guys have been talking about this for months.
You and I said on here a couple weeks ago we couldn't wait because we just thought it was going to be trade. 40%
of the league signed.
All that has happened is Dante Exum and Jordan Clarkson flipped spots.
God, I feel so bad for Dante Exum. You just keep getting hurt. Last year he kind of had an okay year. They give him an extension. It's doing okay. You need more scoring punch off the bench. Give us Jordan Clarkson. Have fun in Cleveland. Dante.
More scoring punch or more shot taking?
Yeah, that. I mean, hey, you know what? Utah has been hot. Utah has been real good. I'm back fully in on Utah. They have to trade Mike Conley before the deadline, which stinks. It didn't work. I really wanted it to work.
It's really bad.
They're so much better without him.
The other thing about Utah is I worry about their scoring potential. Now we're on a way aside. We'll get back to Andre Drummond, but I worry about their scoring potential when I see things like 39 points at halftime against the Pistons.
Yeah, well,
it's a little rough.
I understand that, but they're 9-1 in their last 10, and they've won 5 in a row. So I'm gonna keep. At least give them a little bit of a, hey, they seem to be turning the corner after a tough front to their schedule. This is what they do every year. It's January. They start playing well, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is they're playing really well with their starting point guard being hurt for a considerable amount of time. Mike Conley this year is averaging 13.5 and 4.5. That's not exactly what you're looking for out of a dude you just threw the kitchen sink at Memphis to get. Joe Ingles is infinitely better for that lineup. The way he just moves the ball, he thinks, it's not that Mike Conley doesn't think a step ahead, but Joe Ingles is just he's never concerned with his own anything. I love the way Joe Ingles fits for everything they do. Everything they do, offensively and defensively. I don't know what it is, because you watch him play and you're like, that guy doesn't do anything special, but he just does everything they need. It's that perfect. Every time you find that one guy who just makes everything work, it doesn't have to be your best player. It doesn't have to be whatever. He just makes it work. You need Joe Ingles in that lineup, and he was way better as a starter than he was coming off the bench. You don't need Mike Conley anymore. You can go sign Darren Collison. I think he'd fit right at home in Utah among the religious fanatics. It would be That's a good spot. You trade Mike Conley for whatever you can get for him. I bet Miami might give you Justice Winslow.
Speaking of Justice Winslow, they're going to have to do something with Justice Winslow, right?
They're not playing him a whole lot. Miami is so interesting.
They're not even playing. Isn't he hurt? He's out.
No, I think he's back now.
I thought he was still hurt.
I'm not sure.
But I mean, they're good without him. All right, let's get back to Andre Drummond. We'll get into the around the league stuff.
Yeah.
Because the Andre Drummond, and this is another thing I want to spend a little time on, because right now it is the biggest news as far as NBA trading goes. It's being a little overblown by, I think, Pistons fans, what you might get back and what type of deals are out there. I want to make no mistake with this. When Woj tweeted that they were speaking with the Hawks, it's because they were speaking with the Hawks. When people after said Dallas and Boston are interested, yes, of course they are. They need big man help. They'll pick up the phone. Sure. I can tell you right now, Boston is not going to trade Gordon Hayward and Marcus Smart.
Especially not for Andre Drummond.
They're not going to send Gordon Hayward and Robert Williams and a pick for Andre Drummond. Likewise, they're not going to send Marcus Smart, Enes Kanter, and whatever else picks for Andre Drummond. Those things aren't going to happen.
That's not realistic.
Unless you could do Enes Kanter for Andre Drummond straight up, which really isn't helpful because Andre Drummond is just Enes Kanter making $28 million.
Yeah, I was just say you can't because of the money. It's the idea that you're getting anything other than a really bad contract and a middle-of-the-road first-round pick for Andre is delusional.
There's
and you know what? You should be happy with that.
There's two trades to me that really make sense. You're going to get Chandler Parsons, a pick, and maybe Bruno Fernando, or you're going to get Nick Batum and a pick.
And maybe Miles Bridges.
Yeah. I mean, probably not Miles Bridges.
Probably not, but I'm going to hold out hope.
Okay, if you get
Mitch Kupchak is really dumb. Okay, we might be able to get him.
If you get Batum and Miles Bridges, you're not getting a pick.
And I'd rather have Miles Bridges.
That's okay. Yeah, I think that you chalk that as a win.
You know what? You might get Batum a pick and Malik Monk. It's possible.
Which I would rather have that than Miles Bridges and no pick.
I'm all for young guards who people think have attitude problems because they always turn out to be fucking bucket getters. Even if they're not great for your team, they can put the ball in the hoop.
I also think that Malik Monk's attitude problem is that he plays in Charlotte.
Yeah, I think that's a big aspect of it. I think another big attitude problem is his owner thinks he's soft.
Yeah, and Malik Monk's just in a really bad situation.
He literally hit him upside the head last year after a game.
I love Malik Monk. I may die on this island alone, but man, I love that kid.
I'm with you. It's way too early to say you'd be dying. He's what, 20?
How old is he? He's got to be a little older.
If he's not 20, he's 21. But either way, the kid can shoot, the kid can score. He's better than Luke Kennard probably. Why not? Why not?
Yeah,
you
21.
need something.
He's got all the pieces.
Exactly.
There's a ton
Athletic,
of developmental track there.
Which that's what worries you about the Pistons in general, is they're just not a player development franchise.
I mean, you look at what they did with Stanley Johnson. Stanley Johnson, and this is where I want to say the other thing is, if you're going to trade Andre Drummond to the Hawks, you do not want Cam Reddish. You do not want Cam Reddish.
Those are projects.
You do not want Cam Reddish. You do not want Cam Reddish.
You don't want anything that's a project.
Cam Reddish is Stanley Johnson. And the problem with Stanley Johnson was that they brought him in and they were like, yeah, if he can develop a three-point shot, we're good. The problem is they never made him develop a three-point
Reddish
shot.
Can shoot, though. He was a good shooter in college. I mean, I haven't watched a whole lot of him play with Atlanta. The thing is, for me, I like Cam Reddish a hell of a lot better than I like Stanley Johnson. But you're right, if he comes to Detroit, he's the same guy because they can't develop him.
Cam Reddish is shooting 31% from the field and 26% from three.
You don't like that. That's no good. That's not what you're looking for. Those
And
are
it
Russell
is-
Westbrook numbers.
In college, he wasn't even in college, I don't think he was 35% from the field, 33 from three. And that's college threes.
Yeah.
I mean, he's always just kind of been
He's
inconsistent.
got that smooth form. I always think of him as being able
His
to shoot.
form looks really good, and I think the free throw percentage was even 77 in college.
I was listening to Trae Young on the Woj pod the other
77
week talk about
in the
Cam
NBA.
Reddish too. Everybody thinks that Cam Reddish is going to be something.
He has a smooth form, and he doesn't. It's he
6'10",
looks like he can
fluid
shoot,
athlete,
but
right?
apparently he can't.
Anytime you see guys that big who are that fluid, you get excited.
So, just that is the whole thing for me with this Andre Drummond stuff is stop looking at Dallas, stop looking at Toronto and going, yeah, we'll take Marc Gasol on a pick. You're not getting it.
If there were another team out there seriously interested, Woj would have told you that there's another team out there seriously interested. He said Atlanta because that's who they're talking to.
No, and the other thing is, it's more than likely that no competitive team is going to really be in an Andre Drummond.
Who would want him? Give me a playoff team that wants Andre Drummond over what they got at center right now.
Toronto might take him because Gasol's not playing, but
they'll find something else.
Right. Any competitive team that's looking at Andre Drummond is going to be able to find someone that's at least as good for half the cost on the buyout market in March.
For sure. Or in a trade somewhere else.
Or on February 9th, because the trade deadline's crazy early this year.
You don't know what the hell Brooklyn's going to do. They got 2 centers.
Well, and that's a team, by the way, Brooklyn may be interested in shipping guys off just like a machine gun at this point.
Yeah, because Kyrie's not coming back.
No, he's not playing this year.
Let's be real. That's not happening. This is one of those things where you kind of see it coming from a mile, and it's the same thing with like Zion, and it's the same thing with Blake Griffin. Like, if you think Blake Griffin is playing again this year, you're nuts. He's not playing this year.
I mean, he might sporadically, but
I don't think he's playing. I don't think Blake Griffin is going to play again this year, at least for the Pistons. Like, if he gets traded to a team that might have a playoff chance, maybe he pushes it. He's been known to push it before the playoffs. But that knee, I don't think Blake Griffin's playing this year. I really don't. I think it's over for him for this year, which is really unfortunate. But maybe he becomes much more attractive as a trade piece with one less year on that deal after he's taken a year off and gotten a little healthy. Maybe you can get a first and something for Blake instead of just a first and shitty money. You might be able to get something else after a year when he's only got 2 years left on that deal, when he's a year removed from being a little bit healthy. Maybe you get something this summer, but you're not getting shit for Blake right now. It ain't happening. At least not what you want. Like, you don't want to take the Andre deal for Blake.
Right, and that's like
he
there
made
was a
all
point
NBA last year. You could have traded him this summer.
In the summer, if you had decided, look, we understand that,
which is what I told you to do in the summer. Ed, why don't you listen?
Goris is now Ed is taking marching orders, but Goris is now at a point where he did the interview in LA, and it sounded like, all right, I understand this isn't going to work. I'm ready to do this, and. Great, you waited too long, because if you had said that in the summer, oh, this is our ceiling, getting blown to smithereens by the Bucks, that's the best that we can be.
It doesn't even count as a playoff series, what happened last year. It doesn't even count.
You could have traded Blake Griffin to Portland for multiple firsts before the draft even started.
Portland was desperate, so desperate to make a move this summer, they ended up spending like $500 million on 2 guards. They just gave their 2 dudes extensions so that they couldn't be traded. Because they looked around, they couldn't find a trade for either one of them, so they said, yeah, we'll pay you both. You'll be more attractive if you have a contract linked to you when we want to trade you.
And now they might trade them both.
Well, they can't till the draft. But yeah, like it's certainly possible. But not for Blake Griffin.
CJ McCollum can be traded, right?
You signed an extension.
Yeah, but can't they match salary for next year?
Maybe.
Because I've seen rumors floated that CJ McCollum could be a piece of interest for the Sixers.
Maybe. Does it not start until 2 years?
I gotta look at... Yeah, I thought his was out more.
His could be one of those that he signed the year before. But I think it's an opt-in. I think what he did is opt out of that last year and sign an extension. So he plays for this year, and then next year it kicks in, same as Dame. Where he's playing for this year, and then next year it kicks in.
Upcoming contract extension kicks in the year after next.
The year after. Man,
so he can be traded.
They gave him an extension.
Yeah.
So he can be traded this year, not next year.
Correct.
That's okay. Well, then, yeah, they got to move him quick.
And they can.
Yeah.
I think he's incredibly movable. That's a guy you got to watch, because I think as we approach the trade deadline, moves will happen. I think we thought it's going to happen right away. Maybe it's a little more like baseball, where it almost feels like soccer, like they're opening a transfer window where hey, between December 15th and
we know how much Adam
8th.
Silver loves the outline of European soccer model.
No kidding.
I'm sure Adam Silver would love a spring and winter transfer window.
Yeah.
I bet he would love that.
Well, and the spring one's electric.
It's awesome. It's made for Twitter.
For people who aren't fans of European soccer, just a quick aside, the summer transfer window is one of the most electric periods in global sports.
But they don't even the rumors that fly for European soccer are insane. They just report shit with nothing behind it.
You think NBA free agency, put it on steroids.
It's like plane watch when they're trying to find coaches or free agents. Oh, they sent a plane to this airport, but ridiculously on steroids for European soccer.
Yeah.
It's like they're watching your great uncle's house.
It's insane.
It's crazy.
It's so electric. So if that's the way they want to go, pretty good for a rating standpoint. But anyway, that's what it feels like they're doing here with the December 15th thing, with the February 8th stuff for the trade deadline. But I think it's like a baseball thing where, yeah, you can be traded now, but we're going to do it on like February 7th. We're going to do it at the horn and really see what it looks like. Because that's like right now you could jump the gun and like make a move for CJ and then come to find out you weren't as good as you thought, or something happens where it changes. By February 8th, you'll have a much better idea of what you're looking at, especially like playoff seeding wise. Are you willing to take on a rental that might opt out? Are you willing to and it could really start to pop.
Who's the rental?
Gordon Hayward, maybe, if the Celtics decide we'd rather have somebody like Miles Turner.
Would you want to do that if you're Indiana? Send Miles Turner to Boston?
Apparently, they really want to trade him.
I know, but like not to the team directly in front of them who knocked them out last year.
Yeah, I mean, but here's the thing: if you trade Miles Turner for Gordon Hayward, you're getting Gordon Hayward in his hometown. He may actually re-sign.
He may re-sign, but you also like Gordon Hayward is a great player. He's an all-star in the East for sure. Do you need him? Is he excess? How much better is he than TJ Warren for the money?
I think he's probably a lot better.
Like a lot better, but he's double the money.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
You got Oladipo, you got Brogdon, who you just paid $85 million to.
Does showing the
bring in
willingness,
another ball handler?
Does showing the willingness to bring in somebody like Gordon Hayward help you keep Depot down the line?
Oh, you're keeping Depot. They're gonna re-sign him this summer when no one else is gonna offer him that money. They'll extend him. This is like Herb Simon could not have dreamed of a better situation to have a guy get hurt. Have your star get hurt, you don't lose any spots in the playoffs. He's back before next year when you're still a playoff team because the bottom half of the East is shit, and you only have to pay him half as much as you would have because he got hurt. Nobody else is going to give him that money. Herb Simon's the cheapest motherfucker in the league. Everybody knows that. That's what Indiana does. Paul George even said when he went back to Indiana like 2 weeks ago, one day I'll tell my side of the story. You won't hate me anymore. Because he'll tell you, Herb Simon lowballed the shit out of me after I got hurt. I got hurt, and Herb Simon was like, I'll pay you half of what you're worth. And he said, fuck you. Which is exactly what he should have said. That's Herb Simon to a T. That's what he does. So, yes, they'll get Oladipo on the cheap, and it's not fair to Oladipo. But that's why I hope he comes back and averages 28, so they have to pay him, because then he'll walk.
Would the Nets be willing to send Joe Harris somewhere?
I think Joe Harris is probably out of Brooklyn after this year. You can't pay him because he'll be worth so much. Was he shooting 45% this year? Like
that might be a rental.
I mean, yeah, I suppose.
Boy, I tell you what.
Again, though, to a team in the East that you're directly competing with.
Well,
like,
I'm not talking even about the East.
Yeah.
The Lakers would love to have a guy like Joe Harris right now.
Yeah, but I think you just hope Danny Green could become him. Like, Danny Green has not given you what you're hoping for. Avery Bradley's been way better on the floor than Danny Green. If Avery Bradley were healthy all year, I think Danny Green's minutes would be even less. I obviously the Lakers will look to add shooting. They're the Lakers. But I think it's probably like a JJ Redick.
Jay Crowder is also quickly becoming a rental.
Not for the Lakers.
No, not for them.
Not anywhere near LeBron James. They don't like each other.
Jay Crowder is very quickly becoming a rental option. Danilo Gallinari is a rental option.
That's a big name to watch. Because that's the thing about OKC is it's who everyone's not talking about. Like, yes, Chris Paul is obviously on the market if they could find a deal. Steven Adams, obviously on the market if they could find a deal. But teams are going to come for Gallo. Teams are going to come for Schroeder. Like, these are guys that everybody's going to want come February 7th.
The other names that we got to watch the next few weeks, big ones, and these are two that keep getting linked. I mean, if you're Memphis, you got to do something with Andre Iguodala.
Have to.
You cannot continue to just. You can't let him not play for you and then walk away for free.
You can't. I said something last week. I'm trying to remember. Okay, my dark horse Andre Iguodala team, and I watched them play twice this week, and I was blown away with their execution in the fourth quarter, especially the two young wings. My dark horse Iguodala team is the Phoenix Suns. I love Iguodala off the bench as a wing.
Would they want him as a rental with how bad they've been?
They weren't bad this week. Like I understand they're like a half a game out of a playoff spot. It's the 8th spot.
They'll get Ayton back.
Yeah, exactly, and get thrashed by the Lakers or whoever. But if you have Andre Iguodala, it helps you against the Lakers or the Clippers.
That actually, it's not terrible. Could happen.
Look, that team, Booker down the stretch of that Portland game this week, wow. Like, I mean, not shying away from anything. Oubre hits big shots. Rubio plays well for them. Baines, they have what it takes to get that 8 spot. They're a half a game back. Like the drop off between 7 and 8 in the West is laughable.
If they get 8 and then get the Lakers, they're probably getting run out. But against other teams, they could win a game even.
Right, and think, when's the last time you were in the playoffs?
Right.
Steve Nash. Like, you're doing anything you can to get in the playoffs.
Right.
And if it means your first-round pick for Andre Iguodala, you do it.
Yeah.
Like, what is it, the 17th pick?
Yeah.
I mean, you would love to have Josh Jackson be great, but he stinks.
Yeah.
Like, and you had goodwill in giving him to Memphis for literally nothing. Maybe Memphis will cut you a deal for Iguodala.
It's a weak draft, and Memphis is going to probably get their top 6 pick, and then that they'll need for it to not be Boston's. They'll get their top 6. Having 17 is just a bonus, and they can maybe strike gold.
I'll say this right now. They're a half a game back from Phoenix. Memphis is. So they're a game out of the 8.
I got to figure at some point they're going to try to stop
I would
winning.
imagine, but hey, if you're rolling, Memphis is Memphis. You make the playoff. You need to make the playoffs in that market.
Yeah.
You don't want to you want to rebuild that's really bad.
The other name I was going to bring up, and I just thought of one other name on top of that, but Kyle Kuzma is going to be traded.
I would think. I'm a little surprised it hasn't happened now, but only a little because there's probably just waiting for a better deal.
It's kind of hilarious that he's the one that they were very much like, no, we will not move him in an Anthony Davis deal. And now it's like, we really have no choice but to move him.
Well, I think they had to hang on to one. I think Kuzma was the one that they could hang on to the most. I think probably David Griffin was like, no, you can keep Josh Hart. And they were like, no, we'll be keeping Kyle Kuzma. Like, you needed at least one piece left that you had to be able to dangle at somebody and make a trade that works to fit if Kuzma wasn't going to be the guy. And I think it's pretty clear, 40 games in now, he's not going to be the guy.
Right.
So
all that shit on Twitter sure didn't help.
Yeah, that's, Twitter is Twitter. It is what it is. I'm a little surprised that Kyle Kuzma for Andre Iguodala wouldn't get it done. But I think maybe they want something more than Andre Iguodala if you're giving up Kuzma. Maybe you want Iguodala and a pick, or Iguodala and... Well, if you're the Lakers, you don't want a pick. You want Iguodala and... Who's on Memphis? One of the Brookses that didn't get traded. Didn't they try to trade both Brookses last year or something? DeAnthony Melton's been a nice player. They don't want any of these guys. I'm looking at Memphis's roster like, who you want, Solomon Hill? You don't want any of these guys.
The guys that you want from Memphis, you can't have.
Yeah, you want Iguodala, and that's it. Nobody else. Memphis stinks. How are they? Whatever. But yeah, I mean, Kuzma's got to get moved. That's the fact of the matter. If it's not for Iguodala, it's going to be for somebody. Because he's not really going to help you in a playoff series.
The other name I thought of while I was doing this, Drew Holiday's going to get moved, right?
The thing is, to where? Because Denver seems to be like the overwhelming man. He would fit perfectly right there.
You know where he'd fit?
Philly? Yeah. Yeah.
Can you imagine bringing... and this is the thing. I don't know if he fits alongside Ben Simmons.
He's A+ Josh Richardson. He's just a better version. Way better. But same basic principle, right? Ball handling guard, great defender. Doesn't need the ball, but is still good when he's got it. He's just a better version of Josh Richardson, who makes way more money. My thing is, what do you trade for him? You don't have picks.
Would the Pelicans be interested at all in taking on Al Horford?
You can find the third team there. You'd have to find a third team because no.
Yeah,
you already got... See, the thing for me, we've been mentioning big man, and this is going to jump way off, but we're on the Pelicans real quick. The thing I said last week for big man help for the Celtics, why not Derek Favors?
What's he make?
It's not that much. He signed this year. I don't think it's ridiculous. I didn't check it, but it just seems like if there's a finagling, there's a team that needs to get in on a third deal, or the third team that needs to get in with the Pelicans. Could the Celtics call and be like, hey, you need a third team? Fine, kick us Derek Favors. We'll be your third team. We'll facilitate with one of these picks that we have. Kick us Derek Favors.
That actually might be the best move, because then they wouldn't even have to move Marcus Smart.
Right.
I keep looking at the way that they could get him. If the Celtics get in at the buzzer,
just being that third team. Just being like, hey, we have these 2 picks. Want one of them? Kick us somebody.
Can you imagine It would never. Never mind. It can't happen.
You gonna say Al Horford?
Yeah, it was like
they can't do it.
They won't facilitate each other.
Never.
But Elton Brand's done it before. But
Yeah, but
they're not going to facilitate.
fool me once.
They won't facilitate each other like that. That would be incredible, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there's big men they could come in and just sort of take at the 24th hour.
Yeah, I feel like getting in at the horn for someone like Derek Favors is just the third team in a deal.
Right.
Really is a good idea.
Alex
That's what
Len,
I was.
If Alex Len, let's say Atlanta's moving in for Andre, hey, we'll give you a second rounder, kick us Alex Len. Like, be the third team in that deal.
So you're saying that Atlanta gets Andre, the Pistons would get
Pistons get Chandler and whatever, but they need a third team to somehow make the money work. Okay, we'll throw in a second rounder and $2 million. Give us Alex Len. There are other big guys out. That's just one example. You could do a Willie Hernan Gomez in Charlotte. Like that they're just examples.
Yeah, I really like, because I kept looking at the idea of the Celtics making a
Valanciunas in
trade,
Memphis.
but just getting involved at the buzzer with some random second round pick or their own first, and
Right.
just taking on.
Just to be
That's
the
the
third
best
team.
move.
You fit. Right. Zubats might be going out of the Clippers quickly. They could move on from him. He's on an expiring.
I just wonder what the trade is that creates the Derek Favors move or creates the Drew Holiday move.
Well, my guess would be the first dude getting moved out of New Orleans is JJ Redick, because the first
Which,
thing
again,
every team is going to come for is shooting.
Philly.
Right. Well, no shit. They probably just should have done that. Like, probably do that. But, that's neither here nor there. If you get in, I'm not sure the team, like, yes, Philly, I just don't think JJ Redick is going to look at it and be like, yeah, I want to go back to Philly. Like, I think JJ Redick doesn't want to go back to Philly, and that's why he didn't resign in Philly. So, Trajan Langdon is the assistant GM. Trajan Langdon is one of JJ Redick's best friends. David Griffin is not in the business of sending an established veteran to somewhere he doesn't want to be into exile. The Clippers make sense for JJ Redick. Other teams make sense for JJ Redick because he's a shooter and he just fits everywhere.
See, that's where if JJ Redick goes to either the Lakers or the Clippers,
Yikes.
it just immediately cements them even further as a title favorite.
He fits better with the Lakers just because the Clippers already have a great bench. And the Lakers do too, but not a great scoring bench.
Can you imagine, what if the Pelicans just finish the deal by sending JJ for Kuzma?
Money probably isn't too far off there, to be honest. What's the third year of Kuzma's rookie deal? Is probably like $3-4 million, and JJ makes what, $9?
Who would you have to throw in?
I don't know. Boogie's contract?
Boy, I mean, if that's all it takes,
Yeah.
why wouldn't they? That might be
Frank
it.
Vogel said the other day that he's not ruling out the possibility of Boogie playing this year, and I was like, man, please don't do that. Please don't do that to Boogie. Like, he's going to want to play, but tell him, dude, you just got to take a year off.
Whatever happened with his whole I'm going to fucking kill you.
Dismissed. Everything's
All
gone.
DeMarcus Cousins, $3.5 million, and Kyle Kuzma,
Be close to it.
1.9.
Oh, God, I forgot. He was the 27th pick.
Yeah, so
That's-
two.
yeah.
So you're at 5.5. It's not going to work,
figured he was going to have like $3 or $4 million, and he's got nothing, man.
and you can't trade JaVale. Well, with how well Dwight Howard's played, you actually might be able to move JaVale if you're getting back JJ Redick.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about it. You can pick up a center. Henry Ellinson's out there.
Flip JaVale and
Another Pistons first round.
what
draft
if it's
pick.
just JaVale McGee and Avery Bradley for JJ Redick?
Yeah, you know what? Could you give up Danny Green instead of Avery Bradley? I'd rather give up Danny Green.
Well, Danny Green's $14 million.
And you wouldn't have to give up JaVale.
Yeah, but you'd have
God,
to.
Danny Green's $14 million?
Right? That's where it doesn't
Holy
match on
shit.
the other end. You're not getting. You can't match JJ and Danny
Why
Green.
is Danny Green
Doesn't make any
$14
sense.
million?
It doesn't
What
make
were
any
you
sense.
Thinking? Oh, that's what a title gets
They
you.
were thinking that they've
that's-
just missed Kawhi.
That's what a title gets you. Like 14. Danny Green's a great defender. No, he isn't.
Well, he was at one point.
He was when Kawhi Leonard was guarding the better wing every night
Oh boy, yeah. I was gonna say
for the last 7 years of his career.
all of the years that Danny Green was a great defender, he had Kawhi Leonard right next to him.
And Manu.
Yeah, that's rough. I know the Lakers are going to make some type of move,
Right.
And
So
I know
is
that
Houston. Houston's another JJ Redick team. Everyone knows Houston's going to make a move. This is Daryl Morey. Like, they're going to make a move.
Okay, so we have to now. Here it comes. Are they going to trade Russell Westbrook?
Here's the thing. I think if they don't at least get to the finals this year, Daryl Morey's getting fired. Like, I think that's probably... It's this underlying thing that, again, we're not going to talk about, but it's so underlying this entire season is China.
I think you may even be giving him too much credit. I think if he doesn't win a title, he's gone.
You know what? I would say that, but if you get to the finals and you lose to the Bucks and they're just a friggin' juggernaut, and it is what it is. But you're right. You're right. It could be very well that it's you win a championship or you're out, because Tillman Fertitta is not about spending this money anymore. And in that sense, I think if he fires Daryl Morey, all bets are off. He could trade James Harden. He could trade anybody. So, like, could Westbrook be gone? If Daryl Morey thinks I have to win a title or I'm getting fired, and there's a trade for Westbrook that actually makes them better, yeah, I think Russell Westbrook could get traded.
So the one I sent you earlier, it's not really realistic unless Minnesota just decides they need to keep Cat happy, or Cat's going to politely ask for a trade, and then they're going to have to move him to Golden State.
I really love that trade like months ago, though, because you need time to mesh with that many new parts.
Yeah, but they're just 3-and-D guys. I feel like as far as
and you know what,
goes,
you're right, because D'Antoni threw Kenneth Faried in there last year, made him look like an all-NBA power forward.
Yeah, so the deal is...
Guys just fit that system.
The deal is Tyson Chandler, Russell Westbrook, and spare parts for Andrew Wiggins and Robert Covington and spare parts. And you just add 3-and-D for the Rockets.
Well,
and you send a superstar to Minnesota.
Erase the D part from Andrew Wiggins, because that's not a thing that's real.
He's probably not going to play very often if he's in Houston.
Well, I mean, hey, if you're going to pay a guy $25 million, you got to play him.
The bigger part is getting your hands on Robert Covington.
Yeah. And you know what? Covington, if Wiggins is engaged, because bear in mind, he's still scoring like 25 a night right now. If Wiggins is engaged as a second option behind Harden and really does well in the catch and shoot, that's a fit. Like, $25 million is not what it was 3 years ago. It's still a lot, but it's not what it was 3 years ago.
I wonder, does Wiggins truly believing that he has a chance to win a title and not just like...
He hasn't been
playing
terrible.
Alongside
look,
an insane piece of shit.
Right.
Does that like make him...
Okay. The guy, like,
not to be super mean to Jimmy Butler, but that dude needed Miami as bad as Miami needed him.
Hey, you know what? Find your fit. Like, you can't knock the guy because he found it and that's where he wanted to be and it works. But either way, the list of guys that score 25 a night in the NBA is not pages long. It's a page long.
Right.
And he's on it. So he can score like that. Andrew Wiggins can get you buckets when he's engaged. The problem is he's not engaged a whole lot. And maybe that might be because the star player on his team doesn't play any type of anything remotely close to defense and doesn't seem to care and is younger than him and makes more money and he's in a market where basketball doesn't matter. It's clearly a hockey city. It's a hockey state. It's literally called the state of hockey. Maybe if he goes to Houston, where the star player also does not play defense, but has a coach like a Mike D'Antoni
Nobody plays defense
who can turn his athleticism loose, because that's what it's been for Andrew Wiggins since Kansas, right? You're like, look at this dude athletically.
Right.
He's crazy. So get up and down the floor and run and get to the wings and shoot threes when Harden stalls and just buy in on defense a little. Covington's going to guard the best guy. PJ Tucker's going to guard the other best guy. Just buy in on defense a little. Yeah, that could be a fit. And he makes less money than Westbrook. So yeah, that could be a fit. And I promise you this, he will shoot better than Russell Westbrook, because Russell Westbrook stinks at shooting the basketball. Stinks. So yeah, it could work.
He has been horrid.
He can't shoot.
I'm struggling trying to figure out where I want Westbrook move. Like, that contract is just impossible.
It's another one of those things. There's like a couple of them. Blake Griffin, Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook, where you look at it and say, after this year, it's a little bit better, because there's only 2 years left. But man, it's still not great. Like, that's still so much money for 32-year-old Blake Griffin, or 34-year-old Chris Paul, or 30-whatever-year-old Russell Westbrook. Right. Even if it's only one more year after this. It's like, yeah, but that year he's 33. Like, yo, you can't do that. But look, Houston has no picks. They gave them all to OKC. They have nothing to move other than Russell Westbrook, because they can't trade Eric Gordon, and they absolutely will not trade PJ Tucker. You got to move Westbrook if you're going to make a big deal. If you want to take these little tinker deals and figure it out, like you seem to just piece together with a Kenneth Faried or whoever, Gerald Green or whatever you get, fine. But if you really want to make a splash, if you really want to go for it, there's one guy you can trade, and it's Russell Westbrook. You handicapped yourself with the Eric Gordon deal. You'd love to trade Eric Gordon. Who wouldn't?
It would be easy, too.
It'd be perfect. Be so easy.
If
Philly
you
would
could-
give you anything you want.
If you could trade Eric Gordon, oh, man, their life would be so much easier than it is
Easily.
right now. But
Easily.
I do also, before we wrap this up, and this isn't even like trade deadline bonanza, this is just like future summer. Who is tradable for Golden State?
Well, I mean, the obvious choice would be D'Angelo Russell.
Beside D'Angelo Russell. Obviously, D'Lo and the pick will likely not see next season in Golden State.
So here's my thing.
Is Clay movable?
No.
Is Dre movable?
Yeah, a little. Like a little. It has to be something that makes you a lot better. But yeah, a little. Like, there's a point where, okay, what do we move D'Angelo for? And then you decide whether or not you're moving Draymond. Like, my thing is, you can't go in to we're going all in campaign again the same way you did it last time. Because the people, and I understand it yielded them 3 championships, but Kevin Durant is not walking through that door. So you have to at least approach it a little different way of like, look, we need to be 10 deep. We can't be 7 deep again. Like, we can't be relying on guys who are G League players in the finals. Like, I can't throw Quinn Cook out there to back up Steph Curry in the finals and ask him to hit big shots, even though he hit a couple. Like, I can't, and I don't have Iguodala. Like, I don't have Sean Livingston, so I can't spend $40 million on another starter. If I'm trading for D'Angelo, it needs to be for depth, unless the one guy comes available, in which case you just fucking do it and worry about everything after. Like, if Giannis becomes remotely available, sure, go for it.
That one seems like as incredible as it would be as if Giannis is like, I am not signing an extension. I will not re-sign here. I am not going to play here anymore. Trade me. And they're like,
he doesn't even, the thing is, he doesn't have to ask. If he does not put pen to paper that first day, then you know he's not signing it.
Right.
There's no like, oh, I need to wonder see what else. Like, look, nobody else can give you this. If you don't want this, we can't give you any more. This is the absolute max you can get. So if you don't sign it, you're not staying. You don't have to ask us to trade you. We're going to trade you. Unless you just say, all right, we're running it one more year with you, and we'll try to convince you at the end of this year. We've seen how that works. But we'll do it anyways. Fine. But you probably got to trade him right away.
I feel like that's the more likely move. I feel like they call the bluff. If they
exercise caution when you're calling a bluff.
Right.
It might not be a bluff.
If they don't, that is an insane move. The other one is D'Lo in a lottery pick gets you Karl Anthony Towns. If Minnesota just decides we're done, D'Lo in a lottery pick is getting you
trade. If I'm Minnesota, I only trade for D'Lo if I have Cat. Why trade for D'Lo if I don't have Cat? Or I'm building around D'Angelo Russell?
If Cat tells you he wants out, he's done. Which is now the new norm. Now that we live in the post-Anthony Davis, Paul George world, that's it. And if there are rumors flying that Golden State's like, hey, we want Karl Anthony Towns, and Karl Anthony Towns is like, you know what? That doesn't sound too bad.
I'll tell you what, Karl Anthony Towns doesn't do a lick of thing on defense. Doesn't even try to do a lick of thing on defense.
Well, that's why you keep Draymond if you're Golden State.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is if you got that, that's a lot of money, and you're probably having to move Draymond and not trading D'Angelo. And you're probably trading Draymond and that pick to Minnesota and finding a third team to take Draymond and give something else to Minnesota, and then you get Cat.
And as much as you do
probably
break the league by bringing in Karl Anthony Towns, it does present the same difficulty. Even if you do it with Giannis, it presents the same issue they had a year ago where they have an incredible starting five and no depth.
Well, here's the thing. Giannis is a hell of a lot better than Karl Anthony Towns. And that's not a knock on Karl Anthony Towns.
I know.
Giannis is a hell of a lot better than everybody. The thing is, if you trade for Karl Anthony Towns, you're hoping Karl Anthony Towns is guarding Anthony Davis in the playoffs? Because that's not going to go well for you. He couldn't guard Clint Capella. It did not go well when he had to guard Clint Capella. He was absent for that series against Houston. Completely absent. So I wouldn't do that if I'm Golden State. Like, as great as Karl Anthony Towns is, if I'm trading for a center, it is somebody who you cannot attack the rim on. And maybe it's Joel Embiid. Maybe it's Ben Simmons. Maybe it's whoever. There's a lot of people that D'Angelo Russell in the number 1 pick can yield you. A lot of people. Especially if Philly gets bounced.
So if you make the move for Ben Simmons, if they're like, we're not doing it anymore.
I'd rather have Embiid.
It's a ton of money, but I mean, they're not trading Embiid.
Right.
Like that's my opinion. I don't know if that's true.
I wouldn't trade Embiid.
I think if Elton Brand is looking at Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, and he knows for a fact one of them has to go, it's Ben Simmons.
Yeah, I mean, you had Embiid call him out this week. We didn't even reference that. Joel Embiid saying everybody just needs to space and shoot when they're open and blah, blah. It's like, hey, I wonder who you're talking about. It's trending more and more, and obviously we've discussed it in recent weeks. Like, those two aren't going to play together long term. Like, that's just not going to be a fit because Ben Simmons just will not shoot. And here's the thing. Ben Simmons goes to Golden State. He doesn't have to worry about shooting it. Like, he really doesn't. You can have two Draymonds on the floor. It'll work.
They could run him at the 5,
Yeah,
basically.
you can find shooters. You can do whatever you got to do. Justin Holiday will be available, and Justin Holiday adjacent people will be available.
That's where I start thinking, if you do that and get D'Lo in the pick for Ben Simmons, do you then consider moving Draymond for Robert Covington and Josh Okogie if you can swing it?
I don't think they're going to trade D'Angelo before the deadline.
But that's where I'm talking about. Well, yeah, because you'd have to pay Draymond to move him.
No, they already paid Draymond. But, like, Robert Covington is a free agent, right?
Is he? I don't think he is he?
I thought he was done after this year. I thought he had a 3-year deal when he was with Philly.
If he is, then you talk about adding him to the list of rentals. I thought he had another year for some reason.
I'm not sure. Maybe he does.
Oh, no, he's got 2 more years.
2 more years? Was he on a 5-year deal?
No, 4.
4, okay.
Started last year.
Was that just like...
That's what I thought. He was on
timeline with Philly.
He signed, so...
Didn't he sign it with Philly or did he sign it with Minnesota?
He signed it with Philly.
Yeah.
Wait, yeah. And then... I mean, is that, like... I don't know that it makes them a ton better, but it definitely makes them deeper if you move off of Draymond. Not you're moving off of Draymond, but if you move Draymond to get Okogie and Covington.
I'm not sure you move off Draymond for that. I don't, there's a lot of ways they could go with it. Trying to project what Golden State's going to do before you know what that draft pick is very difficult.
If that thing comes in the top 3, everybody look out.
If that thing's number 1, like, you're legitimately talking about any player you want. Like, not name LeBron, not guys who are under contract and superstars for their own team. But that's why I mentioned Giannis. If he says no to Supermax, good luck, Milwaukee, getting something better than D'Angelo Russell and the number 1 pick. Like, you're not going to find something I understand that 29 teams will offer something for Giannis. But realistically, find a better offer.
Right now, today, D'Lo and the number 1 pick is what? Anthony Edwards?
I would think. And then you try desperately to move off Middleton, and you try desperately to move off whoever else you have, and you just rebuild around D'Angelo as your only guy who has money. And
I just want to see it. I just want to see Golden State break everyone's minds again.
You know what? I had this thought yesterday as I was watching the seconds tick off in Tennessee and New England, and it reminded me so much of what happened in the finals. Obviously, it wasn't the finals. It was a wild card weekend, but I don't like seeing dynasties die. It's not fun to watch a team that isn't nearly as good as the one that's dying in front of them beat that team. Like, I don't want Tennessee to end the New England Patriots. That's not the way that New England should end. Just like I didn't want the Warriors to end with 2 guys going down on the floor. Like, it wasn't a fair fight at the end. They didn't have all they could. And it's just like, I want Golden State back because that's not the way they should end, with 2 dudes getting hurt. Like, that's just not it. So yeah, I want to see them break the league again. I want to see them piss everybody off. I want to see LeBron hate Steph Curry again. Because you know what? James Harden said it on Christmas Day. The league misses those guys.
I miss that team so much.
I miss watching Steph and Clay a ton.
I miss the Warriors so much.
I want them back. So yeah, I want them to, even if it's not for Giannis.
It's almost like, do you want to know why ratings are down? Because you lost the biggest draw you ever had.
You had the guy in the East for years that could play at 7:30 or play at 7 or play at 8 with LeBron. And then you had those guys at 10:30, and no shit, your ratings were through the roof. Who wouldn't want to sit there for 5 hours of that? Who wouldn't? Now you got LeBron on at 10:30, and you're putting on God knows what.
And I mean, you're not like,
you got no lead in, and then it's LeBron.
When you have casual fans, when Pistons fans were watching a mediocre Pistons team fight for an 8th seed, play a 10:30 game in the Bay, it's like, you wouldn't normally stay up for a middling Pistons team to watch them play a 10:30 game in Portland. You'd do it if they were playing in the Bay because I get to watch the Warriors.
Well, I always stay up late for Dame, but that's just me.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm talking like the cat, not us. I'm talking like the regular guy.
Right. I mean,
They're
just
miss that
fun.
team.
They're just fun to watch.
So
But
much.
oh, they ruined it 3-pointers. No, it's fun as hell to watch Klay Thompson score 37 points in a quarter.
I miss Kevin Durant too.
Hell yeah, I miss Kevin Durant.
A lot.
Hell yeah, I do. The whiny, petulant little, like, he's great though. How do you not like watching that guy play?
Tell you what, I'm not missing Kyrie a ton.
But he's fun to watch. I'm excited to see what him and KD are together.
I am too. I'm just saying this year, like even watching Nets games, I think I like watching the Nets better when Kyrie hasn't played.
I mean, I love watching Spencer Dinwiddie. It breaks my heart, but I love it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just...
As stars go who haven't played a ton this year, I miss KD. I miss Steph.
Steph and Clay
I miss Clay.
Yeah.
I don't miss Kyrie so much. I'm fine without Kyrie. I don't like not being able to watch Steph, Clay, and KD.
I miss the Kyrie highlights. Like, I miss the go to House of Highlights and Kyrie did some crazy shit. Like, yeah, that's what I miss. But
Splitting a double team.
I don't
want to
watch
ridiculous
him flounder
finish.
around all night and call for the ball and dribble till there's 4 seconds left, like he did for the first part of the year. Like I don't miss. But yeah, the Warriors. I want the Warriors back. It's not cool when a dynasty dies in a way that it shouldn't die. It's like why do I want Brady to go back to New England? Because that can't be how it ends.
A pick six.
Ryan Tannehill. This can't be how it ends. Like, I need something else. You got to have a better ending.
It's either going to be, like, the ending in New England should either be Brady lifting a Super Bowl trophy or dying magnificently in the Super Bowl.
Or even, like, I would have been fine if Lamar Jackson beats Brady in the AFC Championship game this year in a close game, and Brady says, you know what?
Death.
That's it. I'm done.
And we get to say
like,
it's a passing of...
Exactly.
The passing of the torch.
It's you know what? Like, had Giannis beat the Warriors last year, okay, fine. Like, and everybody's healthy, and he just beats them. Okay, fine. It's his time, right? Similar to what Kawhi would have been, but I still, to this day, if Durant and Clay are healthy, Warriors in 5 in that series. Like, I understand what Kawhi did, but even with Clay, if Clay stays around in Game 6, that thing's going 7.
I think it's also neutered a little bit because Kawhi immediately left.
Yeah,
so it's not like this new team is here.
Exactly. That definitely furthers the point. Like, if somebody's gonna crush a dynasty like that, make it somebody who has a new chance. Like, okay,
the Titans. Listen, Ryan Tannehill won't be their quarterback next year, so that's
they're gonna
problem
lose next
one.
week. They're gonna lose. Like, they're going to lose. It's over. Like, that's the shittiest way to end it. Like, either last year with Mahomes or this year with Lamar Jackson. That's how it should have ended. Like, it's just shitty to have it end by a, like, come on, like Mike Vrabel and Ryan Tannehill. These are the guys who ended Tom Brady in New England. That doesn't make any sense. And it's the same way. It's like, oh, why did Golden State lose? Because Clay tore his ACL and Durant tore his Achilles and Kevin Looney had a punctured rib and all these other things happened and they had 4 guys and Iguodala was playing hurt and he missed a game. Clay missed a game in the finals. You know what I mean? Like, they were just so beat. That's not the way to end. So yeah, I want them back. I want them to break the league again. I want them back. I want to have fun watching them play again.
Yep. Same. And I want the Patriots to come back as an actual, like, that's the biggest thing that we're robbed of, and this will be the last thing we say. If Tom Brady doesn't return to the Patriots, we are robbed of a resurgence by the greatest dynasty in the history of sport.
For sure.
That's what, like, it's not about me as a fan not wanting Tom Brady to leave. Absolutely, as a fan, I don't want him to leave. But if he goes someplace else and that's how the Patriots die, it will be the most anticlimactic finish
It's just not
to the
a
greatest
fitting
dynasty
death.
in sport.
It's not a fitting death. It just isn't. And you don't like seeing legends or dynasties die that way. It's just shitty.
Like, the Broncos, Peyton Manning went out on top.
Even though he was terrible, he rode off into the sunset.
That's how you want to see Peyton die.
Exactly. The sheriff's last ride.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. He wasn't any good, but you know what? He won.
Well, that's where you know there's not a chance in hell Brady's retiring on a pick 6.
No.
So he's absolutely going to play next year. No. Where it is the question.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We have at least a month to talk about it, I would think. I don't think we're going to find anything out before
free
the Super
agency's
Bowl.
before the draft, right?
Yeah. I don't think we're going to find anything out before the Super Bowl.
No. Yeah. No, he'll take his time. I would take my time if I were him.
He's going to do his Costa Rica shit.
Yeah,
He's going to do his Montana shit.
Whatever stuff they do. Yeah. Brazil. I don't know where they go. They're a jet-setting family.
Costa Rica. They have a house in Costa Rica.
They have a house everywhere.
They have a house in Montana.
Yeah, they have houses wherever they want to have houses.
How
many coffee table books that woman sold?
Hopefully Andre Drummond gets traded within the week, and
good
we'll have
riddance.
something good to talk about.
Good riddance.
All right, see you next week.
Later.
Enjoy Detroit sports.